He's not like some guy who have like crazy power, like, and he not so big in this division,
Very, very intriguing fight. JDM is growing at a rapid pace, and we all know what Islam possesses, and we know how good Islam is.
This is JDM training for Islam Makhachev.
Islam Makhachev caused a stir after calling his next fight easy money during a live stream, sparking quick reactions from fans and analysts ahead of his highly anticipated matchup with Jack Della Maddalena. Before sharing his thoughts, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson talked about how the UFC rarely allows fighters to chase double champ status anymore. He praised the idea of Islam Makhachev moving up to 170 pounds to face Jack Della Maddalena, calling it a real test of skill versus skill. Johnson highlighted that this kind of matchup brings excitement and real competition to the sport.
Somebody coming up from lightweight, Islam Makhachev getting the opportunity to go up to 170 to have that, double champ status. The UFC doesn't allow that anymore, but the double champ status. Taking on a JDM, where I feel like JDM was a dark horse, right? Not very known to the public, great technique, great grappling.
Johnson continued by describing JDM as a dark horse, underrated but technically strong. He recalled how JDM impressed fans by dominating Bilal Muhammad with sharp striking and control. Johnson said many expected that fight to be dull, but it turned into a thrilling bout. He appreciated JDM's willingness to face Makhachev, noting both fighters seem evenly matched in size and ability.
The beating he put on Bilal Muhammad, being able to finish him and just out-jab him. A lot of people said that fight was going to be boring. It turned out to be a banger fight. For him to take on a guy like Islam Makhachev, not steering away from that challenge. Islam is coming up, so he's going to be, I feel like comparably size-wise, they're going to be about even, Islam's super good.
Johnson added that JDM's camp with Craig Jones and Alexander Volkanovski helps him prepare for Makhachev's grappling. He said the fight could go two ways, either very technical and slow if Islam controls on the ground, or highly exciting if JDM resists and keeps it standing. Johnson admired JDM's mindset, saying he never gives up position and always fights to escape or attack.
JDM's got Craig Jones in the camp to, battle.
And
Volkanovski to battle that, Dagestan wrestling. It's gonna be, it could be two things. It could be a very, very boring fight, or it could be a very, very exciting fight. Meaning by the way it could be boring is if Islam's able to take down JDM and get his back, hold him there, out-grapple him, stifle him. He could potentially do that. But the one thing I love about JDM when he fights is he never accepted position. When he was fighting Gilbert Burns, great grappler, takes him down. Right when he gets up, he throws that knee into the void. Gilbert Burns ducks down into it.
Meanwhile, Kamaru Usman spoke about the growing buzz around the possible fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena. As a UFC legend, he highlighted how both athletes bring different skill sets. Makhachev's elite grappling and JDM's sharp striking, making this matchup one of the most competitive and intriguing in the division.
Very, very intriguing fight. JDM is growing at a rapid pace, and we all know what Islam possesses, and we know how good Islam is. So I'm intrigued about that fight. I don't think, because I feel like some people are kind of, initially when that fight was being announced, people were like, oh, Islam's gonna do this, Islam's gonna take care of him, or JDM's too big. I think now we're starting to understand that fight's gonna be a lot closer than we think.
All right, so thank you very much. We've got time
Could I get a picture with you guys?
Sure, at the end.
Thanks.
3 more questions left, so I'm gonna go inside the room again. Shoot, go for it. Your name and your question. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Kareem, and I have a question for Kamaru Usman.
As talk around the potential Makhachev versus Maddalena matchup grows, Islam Makhachev gave a confident take on his opponent. He discussed how he views JDM's power and physicality at welterweight, suggesting that the Australian doesn't bring anything overwhelming. Makhachev explained that he's comfortable with the move in size and believes his strength, experience, and overall game give him the upper hand in the matchup.
What about the power? I mean, I talked about like the ability to wrestle guys and trying to get them down. The punching power at 170.
He's not like some guy who have like crazy power, like, and he not so big in this division, like, for example, Bilal, he have like power, like Kamaru Usman. This guy has like good power, but I don't think like Jack have some more than me, you know.
After weeks of intense build-up and speculation, Jack Della Maddalena has fully shifted his focus toward preparing for Islam Makhachev. The Australian striker knows this isn't just another matchup. It's a test against one of the most dominant grapplers in the sport. His camp has been working on improving his takedown defense, ground escapes, and conditioning, ensuring he's ready for Makhachev's relentless pressure and pace.
This is JDM training for Islam Makhachev.
Furthermore, Coach Javier Mendez shared his thoughts on Islam Makhachev's recent training camp in Dubai. He said that after seeing Islam for the first time in over a month, he was surprised by how much stronger and more solid he looked. Mendez described watching him train and spar for the first time and being impressed by his sharpness, timing, and smooth adjustment to the new weight class.
When I came into camp, you know, because I've been here in Dubai all this time, and I saw him for the first time over a month ago, and I'm looking at him like, what the heck? I go, wow, he was solid, you know. So I was very impressed with that, number one. I said, how do you feel? He goes, great, coach. And you know, I watched him train, I watched what he was doing, and I was so impressed.
Mendez continued by expressing complete confidence in Makhachev's growth and readiness. He said Islam has adapted perfectly and is now performing at his absolute best. Mendez called him the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world and promised that fans will see an even better version of Islam at Madison Square Garden on November 15th, predicting he will become the new welterweight champion.
And then he did his first sparring, and I was blown away. I was blown away how good he got, how well he adjusted to the weight. I was blown away. So I'm very confident in him, and regardless what anybody says, he's still #1 pound for pound in my eyes. So that's my guy, pound for pound #1, Islam Makhachev. And the new version of him is coming, you know, November 15th at Madison Square Garden, you know, and he will be the new welterweight UFC champion.
Following Javier Mendez's confident remarks about Islam Makhachev's progress, Ian Gary also gave his perspective on the upcoming matchup. He described it as one of the most technically interesting fights in recent UFC history. Gary explained that while Makhachev's grappling remains elite, JDM's striking could pose real challenges. He added that the fight's outcome will depend on whether JDM can defend takedowns across all 5 rounds. He said, "It's such an intriguing fight. We've seen JDM taken down and beaten up on the ground. You're going up against Islam, world class in every area. The real question for me is, when Islam grabs hold of Jack, how much has Jack improved? I think Jack can do it on the feet. But can he stop the takedown consistently over 5 rounds?" Furthermore, MMA Guru shared his thoughts on the Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena matchup, calling it a special fight for him personally. He recalled watching JDM's early career on the regional scene, where he delivered some of the most impressive knockouts. The Guru highlighted JDM's rise from a tough 0-2 start to a long winning streak, showcasing how far he has come as a complete fighter.
When he was taken out, some of the if you haven't seen it, go and watch back Jack Della Maddalena's regional KOs. Some of the nastiest KOs you'll see. He was destroying people on the regional scene. Started 0-2 in his career, went 10-2. After that, 10-fight win streak, and then since has been on a crazy win streak. I think he's on like a 17, 18-fight win streak now in his career, all the way through to UFC as well. I've picked him in every fight, and I'm going to pick him to beat Makhachev as well. Little spoiler for my own prediction video. But my take on this fight is amazing matchup. I think Makhachev, there's a narrative that Makhachev's ducking Ilia Topuria. But if Makhachev was not fighting Ilia Topuria because he wanted to defend his title against Max Holloway for a BMF belt, maybe I'd say, okay, he's ducking Ilia. He wants an easier matchup against a striker, maybe. But when Makhachev's ducking Ilia Topuria to take on Jack Della Maddalena at welterweight, upper weight class.
Continuing his thoughts, the MMA Guru responded to claims that Islam Makhachev had avoided other challengers, such as Ilia Topuria. He disagreed, saying moving up to face a bigger and more dangerous striker like JDM proves Makhachev isn't ducking anyone. The Guru compared JDM's boxing and takedown defense to Topuria's, explaining that this matchup shows both fighters' technical quality and makes it one of the most exciting tests in years.
You ain't ducking, and if you are, that's not That's not a clever duck right there. That's a real dumb duckling. Because Makhachev's moving up to face a dangerous, kind of Ilia Topuria, but bigger. Maybe not as like dynamic as Ilia is, or the star that Ilia is, but if you're talking really tidy boxing and really good takedown defense and sprawls, you're talking JDM and Ilia Topuria in the sport. So this is a new test. My take on this fight is that this will be one-sided in either direction. That's my take. I don't think it can be boring. I know it could be, where maybe Makhachev does stall it out, but I think if Makhachev does have an advantage in the grappling, lighter man's skill is something that comes up a lot in MMA, and I think he will be able to use that into a finish. You know, you said about his survivability against Burns, which was crazy because he broke his arm in that fight and still survived some really bad positions.
The MMA guru said this fight could end in either direction, depending on who takes control first. If Makhachev dominates with grappling, he might finish it early. But if JDM defends well and applies pressure, he could stop Islam near the cage. The guru called it a rare generational matchup that highlights both fighters' skills and said he's eagerly looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
I just think if Makhachev has an advantage, he will press it to a finish in the grappling early. But if JDM can shuck those off, he will press to a finish up against the cage because he's used to this weight class, and Makhachev's new to 170. And one thing you don't want to do if you're moving up to a weight class above you is immediately feel that pressure of being backed up in a time before in a division where you could maybe manipulate and have the physical presence over people at lightweight. So I'm leaning towards JDM, but this is a generational fight, and I'm really looking forward to it because fights like this don't come around often. Makhachev versus anyone would be good at welterweight.
Adding his view to the ongoing discussion, Johnny Walker shared his thoughts on Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight and the upcoming fight with Jack Della Maddalena. He praised Makhachev's technique and consistency throughout his career, noting that the step up in weight brings new challenges. Walker explained that adapting to a different body type and power level will test Islam, but he still believes Makhachev can perform well.
I think Islam, he's been a really tough fight and incredible technique for the last all his career, and I believe he still can get it. But as I said, it's a new division, new body type, new power, everything. He's moving up. It's a big testing for him, but I believe he can do good too.
Following Johnny Walker's comments about Islam Makhachev's move to a new division, Tony Ferguson also gave his take on the upcoming challenge against Jack Della Maddalena. He reflected on Makhachev's success at lightweight, noting his title defenses and consistent discipline in making weight. Ferguson said that stepping up to welterweight is a smart decision for legacy, giving Islam a chance to prove himself at a higher level.
Makhachev fought how many times at 55?
He defended it 4 times.
That's much more, you know what I mean? And he made weight, you know what I mean? So, I mean, when it goes into it and you have that, I think that's a smart move. When you go up, you're going to try to build legacy. You're going to do certain things like that. And he's going to run like his cousin.
But you also fought at 170. So how do you think Islam will do when he fights JDM for that 170 belt?
Building on that point, Ferguson explained how moving between weight classes can be difficult if not managed properly. He shared his own struggles with cutting weight and how it affects recovery and strength. Ferguson compared Makhachev's style to Khabib's, saying Islam's speed and grappling technique make him slightly more versatile. He predicted that Makhachev would adjust well and perform strongly at 170 pounds.
Okay, so the best advice is to be able to walk around at that weight. The big cut going to 155 is bad. I mean, if you're able to, because even mine when I went to Dubai, like I cut from 70 something to like 64 and a half. I overdid it, wasn't paying attention. I should have took a IV. I was sick. If you're not having somebody monitor your weight and you're doing that and you're fluctuating, you're going to develop like a harder time to keep that weight and like put more weight on after it. But Makhachev's, I'm going to tell you, somebody was telling me, who do you think's a better wrestler? Was it Makhachev or was it Khabib? And I think Makhachev is a better grappler, honestly. I think he's a little bit faster. I think with Khabib, I think he's just a little bit more, not timid of the freestyle that Makhachev presents, but I think Makhachev, he's not going to do so bad at 170. I think he'll be all right.
The excitement around Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena keeps growing as the fight gets closer. Fans are divided. Some believe Makhachev's world-class wrestling, timing, and fight IQ will be too dominant, while others think JDM's sharp boxing, power, and confidence at welterweight could cause a huge upset. Both men are at the peak of their careers with something to prove. For Islam, this is more than a title defense. It's a chance to make history and become a two-division champion. For Jack, it's the biggest test of his career and an opportunity to defeat one of the most respected names in MMA. This fight isn't just about gold, it's about legacy, pride, and greatness. So, what do you think? Will Islam make easy money, or will JDM surprise the world? Tell us your pick in the comments.